What's up, the world? It's your boy Tommy Mav, and I just came in real quick to kind of give you guys my thoughts on something that's starting to get under my skin, right? Something I genuinely dislike, and the WNBA. I mean, to me, this is what I hate about. You ever see like a really rich guy, like a guy who's like well accomplished and done a lot of things, and then he has like a bimbo wife who shows up, and like she wouldn't be within 10 feet of him if he wasn't worth that much money, but because he is worth a lot of money, she's like every achievement, she's out in the front. She got to be on the stage with him. She got to be the center of attention. It's like she ain't got shit to do with him, but somehow with what he's done, like he met her when he was like 50 and freaking 30 billion deep, but in her mind, she helped him build stuff because they're narcissistically oblivious. So when you sitting up there, everybody else just sees them as some side piece that he met well after he was accomplished. But in her mind, she helped him build himself into who he became, because she's so narcissistic that she can't not see herself as important as he is, even though all she does is spend his money, wake up in luxurious places. She has absolutely no connection to his achievement whatsoever outside of being a glorified kid spending his money, and essentially just a glorified sex worker. Like, you literally have sex with him, he gives you money. There's really little to no love in that entanglement. You're just there, and he really thinks you're good looking, so he knows you're not with him because you think his personality's great, or that you saw something in him. He knows what you saw in him. He knows why you're with him, and they know this. And so these people end up in a relationship, and all of a sudden, every time you see him, you got to see her. And it just gets on your last freaking nerve. That's how I feel with the WNBA. They're like the bimbo wife of the NBA, where the NBA is constantly trying to get people to see. You know why I see this the most? In like these churches, right? You'll have like the man pastor build a church up, and then you have the woman pastor all of a sudden who keeps coming out doing sermons, and everybody's like, look, I didn't show up here to hear your wife preach. You know what I mean? And after a while, the congregation just starts to just get annoyed because she's always preaching. It's like, I didn't come here to get preached to by your wife. So this is the same thing with WNBA. It's like, every time you see a NBA player, you got to see the WNBA player right next to him. It's like, bro, like Steph, you got to see Candace and Sue Bird. You know dang well them people didn't want them to. Out of all the people they could have paid to be in new commercials with Steph Curry, who would have been way more recognizable, way more marketable, they picked Sue Bird and Candace Parker. You think they did that because they wanted to, essentially get the best of the best? No, they got that because Steph Curry probably stated to help them out. Well, if you pick me, just pick some other WNBA players so that, that can connect. Because a lot of these NBA players, they love basketball, and they have daughters that they want to love basketball. So they try to support the WNBA because they want it to get popular, because they want the avenue for their kids. And I 100% understand that. I understand the value of the WNBA. Just like I understand the value of a mother and a wife, and just because someone doesn't work doesn't make them worthless. I just hate the ones that believe they're more than what they are, and that's the problem I have with the WNBA. They are the most arrogantly impoverished league I've ever seen in my life. They talk so much crap for a group of people that have achieved nothing. Right? And it was like, well, when the NBA started out, they weren't anywhere near successful. Yeah, but they didn't go out of business. That's why they're still around today. WNBA would be out of business if it wasn't for the NBA. They make no money. And what makes it worse is that when the NBA was struggling, they weren't going out asking for more money. The NHL right now is struggling. The MLB is not where it was. It's still clearly profitable, but I'm saying it's not where it was. The NHL players aren't saying they should get paid as much as the NBA and MLB players, or the NFL players at the very least, because they understand their value. They understand if they want to get paid like those people, they got to bring their sport to prominence like those people brought their sports to prominence, and then they can get the attention that they deserve. NHL, that's fine. You know what I mean? They understand, look, man, we're not going to be getting the coverage that the NBA and the NFL and the MLB gets. I mean, the MLB to a lesser extent, but NFL and the NBA get. We're not going to get that type of coverage. That's not where they'll go and they'll say, well, if they promoted NHL like they promote the NBA, then we would be a lot bigger of a league. No, that's not how it works. They don't promote people out of charity. They promote people that they think the people are going to want to watch. Because if I come out here and I'm trying to advertise my restaurant, I'm not going to put up the least ordered thing on the menu just to see if this thing would blow up. No, I'm gonna put on the menu, on the marquee, the things that most people like, what I'm known for, what people like about it. And a channel, when they're talking about sports, are gonna be known for the big three, if not the big two now, of sports. They're gonna be known for WNBA, and when they put it on, nobody wants it. So why would the least ordered thing on the menu I'm gonna put on the marquee? It makes absolutely no sense. And these girls get on my nerves, because the level of arrogance that it takes to believe, to essentially tell fans what you're not gonna do, what's insulting to you, when you're a freaking impoverished, struggling league that barely makes no profit. So if you're struggling, make no profit, how you gonna turn around later on and look at somebody else and be like, we need to be paid more? We're not saying we need to be paid as much as the men. Well, you're not completely senile, but go ahead. But we think we should be getting paid more. Well, you should be making more. First turn a profit, then we can talk about paying y'all more. Y'all not making a profit. Y'all being subsidized by another damn league, and y'all still not making a profit. Meaning your working expenses are paid for by other leagues. I stop from time to time to watch an WNBA game. Oh, my daughter even plays basketball now, and I still have no urge to watch the WNBA. Because when I tried to sit and watch it, I promise you this, I'm never impressed. It's like watching a middle school basketball game where the players are not really coached that well, but they're serviceably coached. But it's like one or two people on the court that really look like basketball players, and everybody else look like just tall kids put in positions. That's what the WNBA looks like to me. I am rarely ever blown away by the skill there. I'm never blown away by the skill there. I'm generally watching it like I would watch it if I went to a middle school, like my nephew's basketball game. You know you're going to a high school basketball game, so not all the players are going to be up to snuff. They're not all going to be talented. You have a bunch of stragglers sometimes, depending on how good or bad the team is. You can expect to see some players that are just there because they're tall. You'll get some players who are just there because they're athletic. They don't really have any actual basketball skills. And then you have the one or two players that are really good, but they're not as good as like NBA players, or even college level players, Division I college level players. But they can sustain your attention enough because they're playing against such bad competition that it makes their game look a lot better than what it is. But still, it's not to the point that you're looking at it and it's like the high school kid that scores 60 against the worst team in the division. It's like, I mean, in the district, it's like, okay. I mean, he scored 70, but it was against a team that ain't scored 12 points all year and have given up like 80. So it's like it's not like apples to apples. You know, like when you see a player like Bronny James, when he go in there, he's playing against the best of the best, and you're like, okay, well, he's not going to dominate because he's dealing with people that are on his level. Diana Taurasi, I'm not a fan of Sue Bird, but Diana Taurasi, Candace Parker, Cynthia Cooper, you know, Brianna. No, I think Brianna Stewart is more of a shooter. But okay. Those are the only three that I've ever looked at and like, man, that person probably would be good if they were playing with boys. It doesn't matter. They just seem like they're talented. They're shorter, you know, and women, so they're not gonna be strong. They're not gonna be as fast, so they might not be able to hang with the boys, but they can definitely play basketball. And the average guy will probably get schooled by them. You know what I'm saying? The Candace Parkers, those type of guys, those type of women. But that's by far and away, they're anomalies. Like, they're the outliers. The rest of the players in the league, they're not. Some of them are average, but most of them wouldn't beat guys in a game of 21. They wouldn't beat a guy that's 6'2", 6'3". They would lose to the average guy at 24 Fitness. They would lose in an open gym. You know what I mean? They will lose, I think, if you put them in nobody. I think majority of people think they're just tall if you ever put them in, you know what I'm saying, in a 24-hour fitness game. I just don't. I'm just not impressed by that. So if we watching the game, it's like, dude, why am I watching this? When you realize halfway through the broadcast and you asking yourself, why am I still watching this? You realize you gave this thing the opportunity it deserved to impress you, and now you're kind of doing your due diligence. Meaning, you are there making sure that you're giving it the opportunity, but in the end, it seems like you're just doing charity. Like, if this was a male game, do you think I would continue to keep watching? No, I would have turned it a long time ago. But these people are so good at their little mind games of making you feel guilty about not watching it. So you stay there an extra minute or two longer to try to support it, and it doesn't do anything. Why don't y'all lower the goal? Oh, well, that's insulting. Oh, so we watching games to dunk now? Yes. We're not watching games to dunk now. We can watch the NBA without watching them dunk every 2 seconds. We can't watch y'all because y'all suck. So it may be, if y'all lower the dunk and people are not used to seeing women dunk on each other, and you seeing this more often, then maybe, you know, you can go viral when somebody gets dunked on. You can, you know what I mean? All these viral moments, the things that go viral are the other things. Now these women are doing beautiful drills and they throwing it up and people catching alleys and dunking it. Those are things that people can get. Those are things that go viral. Ain't nobody got no viral thing of people shooting layups. And this is the thing I said. When you shoot layups and you got the nerve to think that you on some higher ground, clearly if you got to shoot a layup, then clearly you're playing on a goal that's too high. You're playing on a goal that you shouldn't be playing on because you're shooting a layup. Don't shoot the layup. Lower the rim so that you can actually lay it up like the males do, so you can show off your athleticism, the ones that are athletic. But the problem is that the same reason that one girl said, she said, the best players are not making teams. She was like, this is true. A good number of the people drafted in the WNBA will not play their first season in the WNBA. They get cut because they got a bunch of geezers in the WNBA who are grandfathered into teams that they're not good enough to be on. But because they have such a limited number of spots, This is why Skylar Diggins' bullshit statement makes no sense. Oh, we got the hardest league, people, we got this many players in the league, and none of those players are really retiring. So, our sputting numbers are finite. Not if you're grandfathered in. Once you're grandfathered in, it's not hard to stay in there. You just have to be selfish and just keep showing up. And they're gonna pay you, and they're gonna pay you your paycheck, and you just showing up, and they grandfathering you in, and so they're not even getting the best talent. They got a bunch of old ass people who are afraid to change anything about the game, because the minute they change anything about the game, it becomes obvious how untalented they are. They're never gonna let the game change. They're trying to act like it's some aggressively offensive thing to ask them to play with a goal that's shorter. Like, oh, how dare you insinuate that people want to see dunks? Well, I'm not insinuating a damn thing. We know people want to see dunks. And seeing a woman dunk on another woman might be something that might bring people into watching it. The problem is that the one that's saying it, that Brianna Stewart girl, the reason why she's saying this is she knows she can't dunk. And even if you lower the rim, she wouldn't be able to dunk. So she's afraid that the minute that this changes, and she's not going to be the most popular girl in the league, which is like being the smartest kid in a retarded class. It's like she would rather be the smartest person in a retarded class than be a okay player in a profitable league. And when you're sitting there, all these players that just shoot all the time, they're not going to benefit from the goal lowering. So she's the wrong person to have that discussion with, because it doesn't help her game at all. And she wants people to value the way she plays, and actually give her adoration for how she plays. She don't want people watching it to see people dunk, because she can't dunk. So it does not surprise me that she was the man. She was the one pushing back against it. But you talk to a young girl like Candace Parker, I guarantee you she would probably have no problem with them lowering the rim, because she could dunk on a 10-foot rim. So could you imagine what Candace Parker would have probably been doing, as skilled as she is, as athletic as she is, if you had brought that goal down 1 or 2 feet, or 2 or 3 feet? I mean, Candace Parker would have been dunking all over people's heads. She would probably have been the most iconic WNBA player ever. But because this stubbornness to change, because of this ignorance, that's why I always trip. Baseball, when they don't want to change, they're old, and they're old white guys, and they're setting their racist way. When WNBA don't want to change stuff, it's because it's insulting to ask them to change. Well, why isn't it insulting to ask MLB to change things? Double standard. People say all the time, well, if the MLB would stop being so stuffy and boring and taking all the emotion out of every game, maybe people will watch it more. But no, people stop watching baseball because it's boring. They can say that all they want about baseball, and the baseball player just have to nod and say, okay. Even if there is more nuance to that conversation, they have to just nod and say, okay. That's the way their game is generally being marketed to the masses, as boring. And most of these kids are playing baseball, but they're not playing baseball at a high level. They're playing baseball at a lower level. So when you're playing baseball at a lower level, a lot of these kids fall out of love with baseball because it is boring. I try to put my son in T-ball. And I will continue to try to give him the opportunity to play baseball as he gets older, because I feel like it's important to let your kid try every sport they want to try, and in the end, they choose what sport they want to play. I've never been a fan of forcing your kid into one sport and then basically forcing them to get good at that sport, because just because I started playing baseball at 5 doesn't mean that by the time I get to 12, that's going to be my best sport. So, I try to put my kid in as many sports as I can, because you don't know what sport your kid's going to take to. And when you start forcing them into one, now they're 17 and realize that they were not that good at that sport, and they don't have any other alternative to switch around. So they either give up and quit and say they don't want to do it no more because they start to realize they're a hamster running in circles, like you're just not good enough at that sport. But you could have, at the same time, they could have been fostering themselves in other sports. Not to mention, a lot of these sports have layovers. You know what I mean? They have skills that can be pulled to other sports. But as a whole, baseball is always genuinely marketed like it's boring, and it's not as boring when you have somebody there to watch. That you're actually there to see play. Like I went to see my nephew, I think it was, I don't know, probably some months ago, and I enjoyed it. I liked watching it. I thought because you have somebody that you can focus on, but and you actually, it gives you a different incentive. I've never really had people around me who played baseball, so I never really had an incentive to really watch it. So. But when I did it, I enjoyed myself. I enjoyed myself as much as I would enjoy myself going to any other game. So, I just think that sometimes that is a bad rep that baseball gets, that it's boring and nobody wants to watch it, and it's full of unathletic, lumpy players and this, that, and the third. Now, are they the most athletic players? No, but there's some extremely great athletes that play baseball. Aaron Judge, for one, is an extremely good athlete. Played football, basketball. I mean, but once again, he was well-rounded. He didn't play one sport, because generally what you don't get from one sport, you can get from another sport. If certain skills that you don't know, even though you need in another sport. A guy like Dion, who played basketball, baseball, football, he was able to translate those three things in different sports. The speed he gained in football, he can use in baseball. The agility he gained in basketball, he can use in football. You get what I'm saying? It's the court awareness and all this, that using your brain that you use in basketball, he can use when he's playing football. So I just think that most sports have a turnover problem with most girls, and why they're not that talented, well-rounded athletically, is because they tend to not play multiple sports. Girls, if they play soccer, that's what they play. If they play basketball, that's what they play. If they play volleyball, that's what they play. They play that sport and no other sport. The most turnover I see is some girls who play other sports might do track. But I think that you putting all your eggs into one basket, and it's like, well, if these kids nowadays, they just no, you can focus and make sure you're not taken away from what their primary sport is, yet still give them an opportunity to do other things. And I think the MLB gets a bad rap, but the WNBA, whenever somebody says that about them, that they're rigid and they're boring and nobody wants to watch them, the pushback is against racism. Oh, they're saying it because it's mostly black women, and it's homophobia because they're mostly lesbians, and it's misogyny because they're women. It's like, no, if we can say the same thing about baseball, why can't we say that about y'all sport? Y'all sport is boring to watch. Y'all are boring and rigid. So y'all play, most of the people that watch y'all, the weirdest thing that even Adam Silver said is the turnover. The half of the people that watch WNBA are the same people that watch the MLB. Conservative, middle-aged white men who like traditional basketball. So y'all making fun of y'all got the same fan base. So it always blows me away. But we can say whatever we want about Major League Baseball, but we gotta treat y'all with kick love and say, well, it's okay. You guys don't get the same promotion, and misogyny rules. So you can't. They don't want to watch women, and I don't understand why they want to watch women. Let me tomorrow. They brought in a Tracy McGrady / Kobe Bryant woman. Meaning she ain't even got to be the most, skilled dribbler. But she coming down the lane that bomb on everybody. Do you imagine how dominant she would be? If you drop that to 9 feet and this girl's coming down the lane and these girls can't jump, then they'll have to get more athletic girls to play against her, and then you could speed the game up. But instead, they want to keep the same boring ass game where they're passing 29 times a possession to get a generic Nikola Jokic hook shot or a shot layup. It's like, okay, what are we doing? Why the hell am I watching this? I can get more exciting play at freaking high school in a high school gym. Hell, that 24-hour fitness, I can get more excitement from watching it. But that's the game that you run. Don't criticize them, or you're massaging. Or you're not giving them constructive criticism. You're insulting them. Just like it. And you don't tell me what I should like. If you like real basketball, man, please. I do like real basketball, but I also like to see people dunking. I also like to see people crossing people over, making them fall. I like to see all of that. But you giving me one thing. It's like somebody saying, if you like nutritious food. It's like, yeah, I do like nutritious food sometimes. But sometimes I just want a burger, and sometimes I just want a slice of pizza. And there's more people running to get burgers and slice of pizza than people going and getting kale salads. Maybe that's not the way the world should be, but that's the way the world is. And if you want to be successful as a business, you better put something on that menu that if somebody is just wanting jonesing to get a quick bite, that they can run in there and grab some hot food. Not freaking cold salad or with 3 pieces of meat in it. Most people are going to be like, man, I'm too hungry for salad right now. And that's the same thing. I'm bored. I don't want to see fundamental pass the ball 29 times to get a missed shot. Y'all, I mean, the scores be like 70-63. It's like, come on, that's a sign. When you're scoring, when you got teams that are literally averaging 60-70 points a game, come on. That means you're bricking 90% of your shots. So why in the world would anybody be put in a position where they would feel like they needed to watch that? You're not doing what you're supposed to be doing, and y'all y'all defenses ain't that good for y'all to be scoring. Y'all is missing shots. Never in my life saw a homeless person or a street performer telling people what he ain't gonna do to get money. And I said, hey, could you play? I got $20. Could you play this? And they was like, that's insulting. That's insulting. You don't like what I'm doing? It's like, well, I'm giving you money because I like what you're doing. But if being frank, I'm giving you this money with the extra money with the intent of getting something more catered to what I like. That's what fans are saying. We're willing to give you our attention. Just give us something more exciting and more catered to what we like, and we'll tune in. And they're saying no, we're not doing that. We've been playing on 12-foot goals all life. Well, the shit clearly ain't helping y'all. Because playing on 12-foot goals, half y'all bricking everything y'all shooting. Y'all averaging 60-70 points a game. I'm sorry, y'all playing on 12-foot goals clearly has not made you better at shooting. The women's college thing was March Madness outdrew the men in the ratings. Bravo. Now see if you can sustain a league based off that. Every girl, what's her name, Angel Reese, and the other girl, Caitlin, whatever. Let's see what they do when they end up having to play in the WNBA. Guarantee you, the same thing that happened to Breanna Stewart, same thing that happened to Diana Taurasi. They all were big and then ratings getters when they were playing for UConn and all these places. Sue Bird, and all these guys playing for Gino, Ariema. Yeah, they were all big when they were in college until they got out of college and went to the WNBA. Because a lot of that fan base is already in place when they get there. So UConn basketball is iconic. Tennessee basketball, iconic. These women's basketball programs have a built-in fan base that has been built over hundreds of years, for decades. What is this? Why am I cheering for the freaking Orlando Mystics? It's like, I don't give a shit about that team, and it's not associated with my city in a way that I care. I don't care. You ain't nobody showing up to school to work the next morning. But did you see the Mystics lose? Majority of people, you out there and say, did you see that game by the Mystics last night? They were looking like, who the hell are the Mystics? And they could be in their city, and I guarantee you half the people don't even know the WNBA name of the WNBA team in their city. I keep saying Orlando Mystics. I don't even know if there is an Orlando Mystics. I don't even know if there's a team in Florida. That's how bad the WNBA is. And you got nerve to tell other people what you ain't gonna do, what's insulting to you, bro. We passed the point of humility. Okay, we at the point that y'all ain't turned a profit in years, and y'all essentially like I said, like that Bimbo wife continuing to take their husband's money, and then he's trying to get his congregation to follow her. Oh, my wife just put out a book. It's like, yeah, I didn't come in to see your wife, and her book is not like Joel Osteen's wife. It's like, okay, people showed up, Joel, because they wanted to have your guidance. Even though I don't listen to any of those televangelist people, but I'm saying these people showed up to hear your wisdom. Now you pawning your wife's book off on them. It's like, come on, man. It's like that person when you show up to chill with your friend or whatever, and then he starts telling you his wife is doing this and you want to support him. It's like, well, I can't really say no, because at this point you're putting me in a position where I almost have to say yeah. But I don't really want to support your wife's business endeavor. I just came over here to chill. And I think that's the biggest problem, is that they're so used to their husband's success that they think somehow their husband's success should be parlayed into their respect. It's like, with all due respect, Michelle Obama, I'm glad that you were found to be worthy of the love of Barack Obama. That's great between you and him. But I don't need to hear your voice on policy. Nobody elected you. You're the first lady, meaning you're married to the most powerful man on the planet. That's cool. We ain't trying to hear your opinion on nothing. Oh, that's misogyny. No, it's not. If you would have told me, you would have put Obama. Last time I checked, it didn't say Michelle and Barack Obama for president. It said Barack Obama for president. I'm not putting him in office so he can be sitting up there taking orders from his wife. No different than if Hillary Clinton was elected, then I'm sitting up there expecting to be led by Bill Clinton. I didn't vote for him. So I'm glad y'all, whatever y'all do in y'all marriage, you want to guide him and helping him make decisions behind closed doors, that's fine. But I don't want to see your name on no bill. Because it's just what's it called when you the word where you're constantly being held up by your connections. Nepotism. It's like I'm not interested in your nepotistic viewpoint. I mean nepotistic aided viewpoint. You're not. Nobody would be caring what you have to say if you weren't connected to somebody else. Like Bill Gates' wife, who's constantly on TV trying to act like she's some philanthropist. You spending somebody else's millions and millions of dollars. It's not even like the guy is at a position where you're working together and you're a house mother, having to raise the kids on a budget, and you're trying to figure out stuff and do things, and you're essentially helping your dad. I mean your husband focus on what he needs to do so you can take care of the family. That's one thing. You're not even doing that. You're just some lady who met Bill Gates when he was already worth $100 million, and what got the best everything. You ain't have to budget crap. Anything you wanted, you could get. And yet, every time something's going on, you're standing next to him, acting like y'all built this empire together. Nothing more annoys me more. Kamora Lee Simmons, Russell Simmons' wife, she was like, I remember when I was in school and everybody made fun of me because I was this, that, and the third. She was like, well, they're not making fun of me now. And I remember looking at her like, what the hell did you do? You screwed a guy that's 30 years older than you, and he gave you half of his money because he's a simp. What achievement are your kid? What are the people who made fun of you gonna look back and say? That you able to finagle a guy out of millions of dollars? I don't really see what you're boasting about. You probably should drop your chest and stop puffing your chest out like you did something amazing. But bimbos are always able to convince themselves that they're hustlers when they're really just sex workers. You're not no hustler. They said she started dating Russell Simmons when she was like 17. So it's like bro, you clearly only went with him for the money. You clearly have low moral values because you went with him for the money. Anyways, I just wanted to say that WNBA, stop being the weirdo bimbo wife of the NBA and instituting yourself into everything the NBA does. Nobody came here to see you. Nobody wants to see you. And stop attaching yourself to products attaching yourself in ways that insult your league more than insults theirs. Y'all, people know why you're there, and it just looks so cringy when every time you see an NBA player, you gotta see a WNBA player next to him because it's just cringy. Stop doing it. Please comment. Let me know what you think. Thumbs it up if you like it, and please subscribe. All right, y'all. Peace.